the process of putting our house on our site plan right now. So this is a site plan given to us by PLTW. The location of our, move out of the way, location of our site is in Noblesville, Indiana, at the corner of Maple Street and 10th Street. All right, so the orientation for the north arrow helps us understand this is pointing north. That makes this direction over here east, south, and west. The reason that's important is just to remember that we are in the northern hemisphere. And so since the sun generally passes over the equator, that means that by and large, the sun passes to the south of us. So the south face down here of the house will get the most sun. But you also need to think that, well, the front door opens usually up to a main street, Maple or 10th, your decision, not to the alleyways. So while the front of the house might be facing Maple or 10th Street, you want to think, well, what do I want? What face do I also want facing south? You probably want a lot of windows there because that way you'll get a lot of light and warmth to help with heating and cooling of the house. So the other thing to keep in mind is that there is a buffer zone, a building line, where your house has to be here. It's 25 foot back from this sidewalk, 25 foot back from this sidewalk, 25 foot back from this alleyway, and then only 10 foot back from this alleyway. A couple of things to keep in mind: locations of utilities. So this alleyway has a whole bunch of utilities. Your storm water, that's the SW, green SW. The water, the W. You have SS, which is sanitary sewer. You have utility poles, that's this mark here. You have overhead electrical, so that's this line here. So you have a lot of utility poles here. So keep that in mind when you're, especially when you're considering your site work, like your driveway, things of that nature. All right, so let's get this process started. First things first, you need to go to this document, because that's where the PDF file of a site plan is, up in this upper right corner. But more importantly right now, the Revit file is also located there. So click on that, that link right there. You're going to download it. It's going to go into your downloads folder. So what you need to do is open up this and go to your downloads. There it is. It should show up right there. But you need to, easiest thing to do is open up a second window for your folder. So Control N. We'll open up a second one, and here you need to go to your USB or wherever it is you have your Revit file. So I'm going to create a file right now, put it on my USB, and what you need to do is you need to click and drag this over here. All right, and just to make sure that I'm doing the same thing as what you guys are doing, I'm going to also just temporarily click and drag my Revit file over there. So that is my 2019-20 affordable house. So that'll make its way over in just a second. So what you need to do is open your site plan. So make sure you open the site plan. What we're essentially going to do is we're going to import the house into the site plan. So make sure you open up your site plan, upgrade the model. It was created back in 2010, it's now 2020. So I'm going to wait for a minute here. So while this is happening, a couple things to keep in mind. So if we go back to our PDF site plan, if you take a look here, the elevation of our site, you see these are contour lines. That's the elevation of the ground. This one, it might be a little bit hard to read, but it's 769, 770, and then we got 771. So generally the site is at an elevation of about between 769 and 770. So if we also think about it, the first floor of our house needs to be above that elevation by about a half a foot, so about 6 inches. So it's your choice if you want it to be 769.5 or 770 or 771. If your house is going to be located up in this corner, you're going to want it about 770.5 at least. Down here could be 769.5 or 770, your choice. Personally, I'm going to put my house up in this corner because I want it to open up to Maple Street. My front door is going to open on Maple. If yours opens up on 10th Street, you could have it at like 769.5 or 770. All right, so mine's going to be up here. And that's important to know. So the way we put our Revit file, our house file in here is you go to the Insert menu, link Revit, and then you go to your USB drive, and you find your affordable house, and you say open. And it should show up somewhere inside of here. All right, so I can zoom in a little bit, and then I can just click and drag it and move it approximately where I want. So we're just going to check the location first. And to do that, the building line is not there, that 25-foot building line, even though it shows some text for that. So if you use the measurement tool, that tool right there, and you click on the back edge of the concrete, and then 25 feet, gets me to about there. So I can move it forward a little bit more if I wanted to. It's kind of up to you. The whole point is you got to make sure it's not closer than 25 feet. Like right there would probably be too close. All right, so right there, let's double check it again. So from there to there, 26, okay, good. I definitely know I have enough space there. So, yep, that's about where I'll put mine. Now we gotta zoom in, kind of double check where's the front door of my house, where's the side door, all that kind of stuff. So I remember that for my house, I know that this is my front door here, my side door is here. So I'm gonna remember that I want my front door opening to Maple, and that'll be pretty good because I want my side entrance, my driveway, to be off of the alley. And so what I need to do is I need to rotate my drawing. All right, so if you click on the house, this menu comes up, and here's the rotate tool. So I click here, and I want to rotate my personally about 180 degrees. That will put my front door up top and my side door out to the alley. So let's double check my distance one more time from this front edge, or the back edge of the concrete sidewalk to here. Nope, doesn't seem to be long enough. It's only 23, so I need to back my house up a little bit. Okay, let's try it again. Back edge of the concrete to here is 25 foot 8. Okay, good. All right, so now we can check, make sure everything's looking the way we want it to look in 3D view. So I click on 3D view, and here's where I see an issue. My site is all the way up here. My house is all the way down here. You see here, a few issues. Don't worry about that stuff. All right, so the issues here. So remember the site is way up here, the house is down here. The reason is that when we built our house, we put the first floor elevation as 0, and then we put the house there at 0, which means 0 is really 0 elevation compared to sea level. So if this site were on the coast, that would be one thing, but it's not. It's in Indiana, which is about, at least that Noblesville, Indiana, which is about 770 feet above ground level. So what you need to do, go to one of the elevations. Doesn't matter which one. We're just going to choose east. And so you see our house down here, and you see the site way up here. So first off, just click on it so that you see all the boxes around it, and just move it up a little bit. All right, that way we're separated out from the level 1, level 2 that's part of this file. And so here's our first floor and roof elevation. Now go up to the site, and we want to put in a new level. So go to Architecture, tab, Level. I'm going to put it at a random height. All right, but now I want to actually specify the height. I remember mine was 770.5. Okay, so now that's the elevation I want my house at, and now I need to actually make it that. So if you click on the house, in this menu you have this tool here called the Align tool, and you want to click on the elevation you want to align to first. So that's the one I want to move it to, and then I want to move my first floor elevation to that elevation. So I click on first floor. It might look like your house disappeared. It didn't. It just moved up to the height you want. All right, and if you want to lock it in place, you can do that. That way it won't move again. So that way if you happen to be clicking on it and move it, you can move side to side, but not up and down anymore. All right. So let's go back to our 3D view. Zoom in, and we can see, so here's the main street, that's Maple, that's 10th, these are the alleyways. There's my side door, there's my front door opening there, and I can check that my house, the first floor of my house is above the above ground level. All right, so another way to double check this is to cut a section. So go to architecture, cut the section view. So we want to go to annotate, not annotate. We want to go to view, section, and here's the section I want to look at. Let's take a quick look at the section. Way up here. Oops. All right, so drag this stuff out so I can actually see what's happening here. All right, so I need to change this scale. Let's see. All right, there we go. So it looks like I didn't quite make this, so I didn't account for the fact that my floor was 10.5 inches. I want my ground elevation about 6 inches underneath the bottom of the floor. So I need to go another probably, so that would be, if that was 6 inches, this would be 4, and then another 6, or pretty much another foot. All right, so if I change this to a foot lower, no, a foot higher, so 771.5, and there we have it now. So now we have the ground elevation above that. All right, so that's what I want. All right, so now we know we're good. And the fact that I locked it in place, the fact when I move level 3, it automatically moves the first floor, which is what I want. Makes life a whole lot easier. All right, so now I can delete out my section. Okay, go back to 3D view, and that makes more sense now. So I can see the floor, and I can see the rim joist and the concrete. All right, one kind of important thing here that I haven't done yet is this wall, the siding and everything for the wall should extend down past the floor and past the sill plate to the concrete. All right, so we're going to take care of that when we get back to our Revit file. But right now, we need to finish up the site plan. Okay, so if we go back here, now I need to put in my driveway and any kind of concrete walkways or anything like that. I want my driveway to come off of this alley. So things I need to be careful about, make sure my, so this right here is a utility pole. I want to make sure that my driveway doesn't open up to that utility pole. So if I keep my driveway opening right around here, I should be good. All right, so what we need to do is we need to go to massing and site, and we need to do a subregion, which what a subregion does is that allows you to show, as the image shows you, you can divide the surface into a different surface. All right, so click on that, and I'm just going to draw, you can use whatever shape you want. I'm just going to use the line tool. So start around here, kind of have it come to the edge of my building. All right. And then pretty much go most of the length of it. And then I'll have it kind of like an L shape. All right. Okay, so that's what I'll have. Subregions cannot intersect. Delete instances. Okay, maybe I need to redo that because I think the subregion Here's a subregion for the asphalt. So I need to create a different subregion. All right, so here, here, let's try this again. All right, so a line. Let's try this. Show my subregions. Okay. All right, so yeah, my subregion is having an issue because it seems to be overlapping with the asphalt. Okay, so hit cancel. I need to back this off from the road a little bit. So let's try this. Have it go down. Okay, so that's what it was. So I could possibly try to edit it and bring it back a little bit, but to have it overlap or touch that other one, that was causing an issue. All right, so here's my subregion. Something I need to make sure that it's wide enough. So if I go back here and I measure from here to here, 9 feet. So that's wide enough to fit a car on. It can be a little narrower if you want, but don't go less than maybe 8 foot. Okay. Next thing I should do is probably have a rounded kind of curving apron here. So I can edit this. All right. And then let's do another one of those. And then extend those to here and cut those back. All right, say okay. Again, let's see if I can drag this a little closer to the, we'll see if that worked or not. Okay. All right, so here's my surface. All right, I have that apron. It's a little annoying that I can't get it to match up right with this one, but that's fine. But this is a driveway, so what I'm going to want to do is I want to change the topo surface. So currently, if I go to my 3D view, it is brown. All right. So if I want to change it, I go to material and I can change it to, so it's acoustic ceiling, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. All right. So this is mostly site grass. If I look at this one here, that's site asphalt. So here I want to change it to site. So if I go to scroll down to see site asphalt, say okay. So now if I go back to 3D view, I can see that I have you know, a black asphalt driveway. All right. For better viewing, maybe try to click on realistic. All right, so we have that. And I need to have a walkway going from my driveway to my front door. So I'm going to put in a concrete walkway. And it's up to you if you also want to have a concrete walkway or something like a patio out back. So here you can kind of just do what you want. So I'm going to put in some more subregions. So go back to masking site, subregion. So I'm going to carry this all the way out a little bit past my door. Go up about 5 foot. Let's see, carry it out to about here. And then just follow the edge of my driveway. Hit done. So click on this one. We're going to change that to cast in place concrete. So concrete cast in place, say okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the back. All right, so masking site, subregion. Follow the outside edge of the house. It's like a small patio, so I'm going to make a different kind of shape, arch. And then bring it back in. So that's 13.6. So go back 5 feet, that would be 8.6. A little wider, that's fine. And then close it off. Green check mark. Change that to cast in place concrete as well. Say okay. And now if I go to my 3D view, there we go. So I've got a patio out back, driveway, walkway up front, leading to my front door. A couple things that need to be done. You need to have some kind of steps or ramps going into the doors. So we can put in, if we want to make it accessible, one of them has to be a ramp, one of them has to be a stair. So you can put in stairs here. Let's see. So this is assembled stair. We want to, since it's an exterior stair, we want to cast in place monolithic stair. Let's see, it's going to be 3 foot wide, run through the center. So to do this, we want to put it in from the outside. So it's going to go from, oops, let's escape out of this. This is not set up yet. So what we want to do is we want to put it from this topo elevation up to our first floor of our house. All right, so we need it to go from this ground surface up to the first floor elevation. So probably need to put in a few levels. All right, the way we do that, go to Habitat Site Plan. So we're going to need to put in a, let's see, a section. So go to View Section, right through the door. Let's take a look at that section. All right, change it to, just get the text out of the way, 3/16 equals a foot. So we need to put in an elevation here, a level here, and then we know we have first floor, which is level 3, and same as level 3. All right, so go to Architecture, Level. Okay, so from there, so now when we put in our stairs, we want to put it in from level 4 up to level 3. So go to Habitat here. So we want to go to architecture, and then we have stair, where we're going to do a monolithic cast in place stair, and we want to have a landing at the top of our stair. So we're going to do the run. It's going to go from level 4 up to level 3. So it doesn't need much, only 2 risers. Sorry, looks like 3 risers. Okay, I'm leaving the rest of it for a landing. All right, let's see what's going on here. All right, so there's my stairs. Just need a landing still. So go back here. So create a landing through a sketch. So we zoom out a little bit. Let's see. So we'll make the landing a little, so about 3-foot landing. It's going to go wider than the doors. So there's our landing. Say OK. And then match up our stair with our landing. And so we can use the align tool. Okay. Let's see. Go to 3D view. So there we have it. The only thing we need to do is get rid of the so now we have to make edits to this railing. So the railing across the back is what we want to get rid of. So if you go back to the first floor, or so the Habitat for Humanity site plan, here's the railing when you hover over top of it. So if you double click on it, it's a little bit confusing and annoying, but the idea is you need to have a path, a continuous path for the railing. And so what you need to do is essentially make 2 separate railings. So we're going to move kind of everything for this railing over a little bit, or quite a bit, to try to make it almost look like there's only 1 railing. And then we'll put in a second railing on the other side. All right, so I've kind of made it up. So there's an up and a down path, and I should be able to hit the green check mark. And if I go back to 3D view, not great, but it kind of looks like a double railing. Not ideal, but it'll work. All right, so now I go back here, put in another railing. So let's see. All right. Let's see if we can just click on that line tool and put in a second line. Just tracing out the outline here. And then I just want to kind of offset a tiny bit and come back. Oops, that didn't draw. And let's see, will that let me do that? It needs to be 1. Okay, so it needs to be only 1 of these pink lines per, or 1 kind of path per drawing. All right, so we will hit the green check mark. That kind of redoes our railing that we already put in. And then we want to, let's see, architecture railing. That's what I wanted. That's what I missed before. So I'm putting in a new railing. Base level, let's see. let's try this again. So let's exit out. Let's click on this and then architecture. And yeah, so click on the stairwell, then architecture, then railing. So let's see if this works. So the line command. And then there we go. So I think that worked. So I think I know what we need to do now. So let's delete that one out, and then let's try this again. So click on the landing, click on architecture, railing, and then it's kind of behind here, which is a little bit annoying, behind this text. Now I'm following the outside. There we have it. Click on the green check mark. Oops, forgot to put that line in. And there we have our railing. So now we go back to 3D view and it's not there. Oh, it's because it got put down at level 1, didn't it? Yeah, there's our railings way down there. So let's select that. The base level should have been level 4, that level we put in. All right, now go back to 3D view. Go up here, and there's our railings. It should have gotten tied to our, so pick new host. There we go. Here, you got to pick the stairwell as the host. So pick the railing, pick new host, select the stairwell. All right. That one didn't seem really like that. Maybe I was off when I drew it. Yeah, I think I was a little bit off when I drew it. First one worked. Second one, not so much, maybe because it's just off a little bit. All right, drag it in place. There we go. That looks a lot better. All right, so now we have a railing in the front of our house. So I'm going to need to redraw my concrete pathway so it comes out and around. So go here, click on this, double click on it, put in a new kind of path around. Probably going to need to drag that out a little bit longer and then drag this one back to meet up with it. All right, there we go. So now go to 3D view, plenty of space for that. Go back here, should match up with the front of our house, so that's not right. So click on the stairwell and then use the align command in front of the house there. Everything looks good now. All right, so that's a stairwell. Now we need to do a ramp up to our side door because it needs to be accessible. All right, so we're gonna put in a ramp here. So we finished putting in our stairwell right there. So we're gonna put a ramp into the side of the house because this house needs to be accessible. So from the architecture tab, you use the ramp tool. And this time we're gonna make sure we put the, so the bottom level is level 4 going up to level 3. We'll do that first. And we're gonna use the run. So the key here is that if we try to do this, I know I have about 1.9 inches to go and it needs to go 21 feet. That's really, really long. So I'm gonna do something called a switchback. So I'm gonna go about half the distance. So 21 will go about half, which is like 10 foot. Then I'll move over. So that's going from here up for a distance of 10 feet. Then I'm gonna come back the other direction. So there, and I'm not gonna go the whole way because a little trick to get my final landing right in front of the doorway, I'm only gonna go again back the 10 feet. I'm gonna leave the last foot of rise or foot, which really by ADA accessible means it's 1 extra inch up. So I'm gonna end it here and then I'm gonna make this turn into the doorway and go that last little bit. So now I have a landing here to make that turn and a landing here, right? I'm gonna put right in front of my door, okay? I can finish this. So there it is. Now I just need to align it to where it needs to be aligned to it so I can move it, kind of approximate where it needs to be. And then I can use the align tool to put it right up on the edge of the house. And go to 3D view to check it out. All All right, I can move it a little bit. Oops, not get rid of the align tool. All right, there we go. So there we have that. One thing I noticed though is I'm gonna need to move this walkway out a little bit. So I go back here, pick this, double click on it, drag that line out so that way it's a little easier to get there. Say okay. All right, so now you have most of your site work done. At this point, if you want to add some trees or something like that, so like architecture component, so you should have some trees already, default put in there. So go ahead, feel free to add some trees, shrubs around your house. If you want to make some planting gardens, so the same thing we did for the driveway and the concrete, you could do that, but with earth. That way you could have some planting area around here. Feel free to do what you'd like with the site. All right, and that's it for the site work.